Hey everybody, welcome back to the Two Dudes Talking Motorcycles podcast. My name is Mitch. You can follow me on Instagram at Meech to the Beach.
And my name is Gleb, and you can follow me on Instagram at GlebLapham.
And then we also have our podcast socials at tdtmotorcycles on Instagram. Or if you want to share any thoughts, comments, concerns, pictures, that's tdtmotorcycles at gmail.com.
Yep. Send us your emails and give us some topic ideas so we can know what else to talk about.
Yep, exactly.
We've covered a lot of different topics on here. But today we have kind of a rapid fire episode. So our local Triumph dealer / BMW dealer / Ducati dealer, Eurosports Utah, here in Sandy, Utah, they are now also carrying Aprilia and Moto Guzzi motorcycles. And today they had like a grand opening event or at the time of this recording, they had like a grand opening event where for those two brands, and they had a bunch of demos.
Yeah.
So we naturally went down there to this and tried out some new bikes.
Yeah.
So Aprilia and Moto Guzzi, those are the two brands they added in, and they had kind of a handful of demos, couple of bikes from each brand there to try out.
There was showing off their floor models too, ones we couldn't test ride, but
but we did get to sit on them and poke them and look at them in person and caress them.
Yeah,
touch them.
But it is pretty big for Utah, like especially if you're in like the Salt Lake or just northern Utah, anywhere. Yeah. Dealership support like for Aprilia and Moto Guzzi are just they have not existed here.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well. Like on a large scale, anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the closest dealer is. I want to say Idaho might have one somewhere, but I'm not 100% sure. Vegas, I feel like probably would have one. Maybe Denver as well. They're kind of larger markets.
I don't know
more
anything,
people live there.
Anything down south, personally. So.
No, but it is really exciting to kind of get a couple of new brands here in northern Utah. Now we have another Euro dealer up north in Ogden, closer to me, and that one just carries Ducati, BMW, and Triumph.
Yep.
So the one down here in Sandy decided to add a couple more brands.
Yeah,
but it was
really cool. I was gonna say like I've seen like a couple like Aprilias and Moto Guzzis up till now, like not a ton.
Yeah,
riding around the valley. So for the people who have them, they now have like a dealer network, and if they need to come in for any manufacturer stuff or anything like that. But then also, just now there's new different bikes. We got to try some bikes that we've never ridden before.
Yeah, and it was really exciting too. I mean, it's always exciting to try new bikes.
Oh yeah. So
should we start off with the smaller one?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, so the first baby bike is the 210 457. That one's from Aprilia. And like we said earlier, they only had it was mostly Aprilia models that they had, and they had like three of the same Moto Guzzi models that we got to try out. But the 210 457 is basically, I would say, kind of like their starter bike. I actually just realized I forgot to pull up the price for it. Do you mind doing that real quick while I'm reading this off?
I'll get that going.
Thanks. So the 457, it's kind of like more of your little entry level little baby fun little baby bike, but it's still got some pretty decent specs. So a 457 liquid cooled parallel twin with 47 horsepower and 32 pound-feet of torque, 6-speed multiplay watt clutch with a slipper system, 41 millimeter upside down sax suspension with adjustable preload in the front, and the motor shock with adjustable preload in the back. 320 floating millimeter floating disc brakes with the Bi-Bri 4-piston radial caliper up front, and a 220 millimeter disc with a Bi-Bri caliper in the rear, and it weighs only 385 pounds. It was a pretty light little bike.
Yeah, and it was small too.
It was very small. I immediately felt my hips not liking that bike because my legs felt like they were really cramped in. And the biggest thing I noticed, like the fuel tank kind of sticks out on the sides a little bit, and your knees kind of go under these protrusions on the fuel tank. And for me, I felt like they were just like there was no more room to move my knees anywhere. So it did feel like a little bit cramped. But
we're also tall.
Yeah. We're both like 6'1", and I got long legs, and it's Yeah, I don't know if it's a bike that I would suggest for like a taller person, but if you're just getting into motorcycling and you want something sporty, that was still a pretty peppy little.
Or if height is an issue for you, like it was very peppy. It had a lot of
very peppy.
Yeah, you could have a lot of fun on that, but not get into too much trouble. I feel like too. It just felt like a very good, like lively bike.
Agreed.
Especially if you're short or you're new to riding.
Yeah, it actually comes with a pretty good electronics package as well. Fully LED headlights full LED headlight and indicators. 5-inch TFT, and the TFT on it is actually pretty nice.
Yeah,
very clear and look pretty bright, as well as backlit switch gear, which is really nice, especially for that price point. And your usual kind of standard traction control and assist, like different engine maps, dual channel ABS. It's got traction control and 3 riding modes, which are Eco, Sport, and Rain. And the price of the bike is $6,599, starting here in the States.
Yeah.
And the one I wrote was kind of like that white color that you just had pulled up there. I mean, overall, I feel like, we pretty much just give us whatever you got. I want to try whatever bikes you got.
And they were good.
And that little guy, I was like, we're kind of spoiled. We've ridden a lot of bigger bikes at this point. Sure. And but if I was shopping around for something that's a beginner bike, or trying to suggest like a beginner bike, I think that one's not a bad one to go with.
Yeah, I don't see, like, especially a newer rider, I don't see somebody like outgrowing that either. Like, I had like
it had power. A pretty good,
like, especially if you just want like a street bike that you can like ride around town.
Agreed.
Yeah. Very nice.
And I think because of its size and its lower height, like, it makes it a very approachable and not a super intimidating bike, while still kind of letting you have some fun with it.
Yeah, really nice rev range too. Like all throughout.
I really liked it as well.
Even the first gear wasn't short by any means. It was, that was a lot of fun.
Agreed. Next up we have is the Moto Guzzi V7 Stone.
Yeah, and so they at the dealership they had like the special and the sport. And I think those were the only 3 versions of the V7.
Yeah.
There's a Stone, Special, Sport. The Stone's like their blacked out one. And oh boy.
It looked pretty good, but then they also had, I think it was the Special, but it had that green.
Yeah, it was the Special, yeah.
The green paint with like the chrome engine and the pipes and the badging. The green paint on it like sparkled in the sunlight, and it was such a beautiful looking color.
It was really pretty.
Yeah, I kind of wish I would got to ride that one, even though it's the same engine and stuff, so probably perform like pretty similar between the two. But just the looks of that bike were pretty, and I like the big round headlight up in the front. It gives it that very like classic motorcycle look.
And it was really nice with these ones too is like it has like the outline of the badge on the headlight, so it's not the full badge but just like the shape of it.
And I believe that's like one of the, I think that might be like a running
the daylight
like daytime light as well, so it kind of lights up in that logo, which is a pretty cool design.
But and for us well, on their own, I should say, Moto Guzzi is unique, like with the way that they face their engines, those front, like how the parallel V twin now, I guess. Like, well, they face it to be perpendicular to
V twin,
but the V7 Stone it's running on a air cooled 90-degree V twin that is shaft driven, which was so good, very responsive.
Yeah, it was very responsive.
The motor itself is a 853cc, pushing out 67.3 horsepower at 69,000 RPM and 58.26 foot-pounds of torque at 44 RPM. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like,
my favorite thing is I feel like that bike is one of those bikes that's got pretty good character.
It really did.
As soon as I started it up, and we swapped like halfway through, so you didn't get a chance to like start it up at first, right? Because it was already on. When I first started it up, I can feel the bike like lean to the right, just because that engine is like
how it sat.
Yeah, just because of how it sits and how much like, it feels like it's got good power to it. But as soon as I started up, the whole bike kind of like shifted to the right a little bit. You feel that engine just kind of roar to life, and then when you're just sitting on idle, you can hear it like. The whole bike is kind of vibrating and shaking. It's just...
You got little, like, not like jolts, but like the thump, 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 It just felt really good. Revving that thing out too, like just getting up to speed and shifting, like right at the very high end before you shift, like that engine note would spit out.
Oh yeah, it had a really good engine note.
Yeah, and then the only like drive shaft bikes we've ridden have been like the GSs and the Tiger 1200.
Yep.
And but when it's on something like that small too, it's compact, like it's
pretty sweet.
It gets up and goes for what it is.
And obviously like the big benefit of shaft drive is you don't have to worry about
no chain.
maintaining it.
Yep.
I'm assuming you'd have to like swap out the fluid or oil or whatever it is inside at one point, but compared to a chain, there is no like consistent maintenance you have to do with it.
No, it felt very well put together though.
It did feel pretty good. The only issue we had with it was like the dashboard, and it's kind of got that Triumph Speed Twin.
Oh yeah, it's like it's offset. It's not centered for your speedo and everything else. It is a LCD LED, like it's LCD like
the Casio watch.
LCD, like and this bike, it looks and feels so good. If they just put on like a nice like classic like
100%
dual dial, or you know, if they're really set on having like something digital, not LED,
like at least a nicer like TFT or something,
but preferably a nice dial.
I think this is definitely a bike that should 100% have a full-on analog dial, or even two dials, one for the tachometer, one for the speedometer, or just some variation of like an analog physical dial, because I feel like this bike could be like a very big parallel to like the Bonnevilles from Triumph.
I was thinking like the Bonnevilles are also like the R9Ts.
Yep, too. Exactly. And I mean the Bonnevilles, I mean we just talked about Speed Twin not having a cool dial anymore, just having the off-center TFT, but like compared to like the Bonneville, the T120 or the T100 where it has those classic dual dials, I feel like if the Guzzi had that, it would be a strong contender to like kind of pick between the two. But because of that, I think the Bonnevilles are the prettier bike.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, and I'm with you for sure on that. For me, that was really like my only downside to it.
I agree.
Yeah. It had a really cool like character feel to it. What was for me, it was like you sit on it and it's like, it's definitely a V-twin. But like, I don't know, it feels like a mix of like a cafe and like a cruiser.
That's kind of like how I felt.
It was very unique for like for compare. And I've never ridden like a Harley or anything yet, but like I got vibes from I was like, it's a V-twin. Feels like I'm on an Indian, which I have ridden.
Yep.
But also somehow feels like I'm on a Triumph too.
Yeah.
Or like some other like cafe bike. So.
And I think what I was talking about when you're at idle and kind of like that has that thumping going on. Just that reminded me a lot of the Harley that I tried out one time, where it kind of feels like a little rough, a little like not super precise, not super like clinical. So it had some fun character, and I really enjoyed
once you open it up.
You open it up, I mean it's a pretty torquey bike, so it was kind of fun to let it rip and then listen to that exhaust note. I thought it had a pretty nice exhaust note.
No, definitely. But the bike itself, it comes with like Brembo. It's only a single disc up front, and obviously one in the rear still. But there are Brembo brakes coming in at 480 pounds, so cruisery. It's got the cruiser weight, but again, very approachable. 2.5 feet for a seat height on there. ABS and traction control, cruise control, and it has 2 riding modes.
Rain and road.
All for $9,990 MSRP.
Yeah, so not a bad. Not a bad bike, especially for the price.
For what you're getting, for that price point, you're getting a really character-y bike. Bike with some character in it.
The thing you mentioned of being like between a cruiser and cafe racer, the way I thought, like the thought that popped into my head was, it feels like I'm on a cruiser with a standard seating position.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't have like the foot. Like your feet aren't forward, your feet are like tucked in like a regular motorcycle riding position, and you're not like leaning back. But the character of the bike just feels like oh yeah, this can like just cruise up a canyon road or just down city streets or down the highway. And we got it up on the freeway, and it didn't feel like, even at higher speeds, it didn't feel like you're really like out of power.
Yeah.
Like you got plenty get up and go, especially like for our fast highway speeds.
Yeah. No, again, a great like weekend bike, city bike.
Yeah.
Really cool. I actually liked it a lot. And again, this is the V7 Stone. I saw like their Sport, the V7 Sport, which has inverted shocks, so you might get a little bit better suspension on that one.
Oh, okay.
And then like the Special just seemed to have the standard. So, but yeah,
cool.
For my first Moto Guzzi, I actually was really impressed.
Yeah, I really liked it. They did have like a few other ones that didn't have demos of available, but there's like the V85, which is their like kind of touring / adventure bike. They had two variations of it. They had one with like spoked wheels and one with cast wheels that had like the panniers already on it.
Yep.
That one I think is such a gorgeous looking bike, especially like the more like off-roady one.
Mm-hmm.
It had this like beautiful red and white paint on it. Had the high fender up front. Had those like two big headlights in the front with like the logo like connecting them in the middle. I sat on it and I was like, this thing looks awesome. It's also a shaft drive.
Is wide
too. It had a nice comfortable seat. It had that big monoshock in the rear and
side mounted monoshock, which looked really
which
cool.
is really cool. And I mean it's definitely like a bigger bike than the V7s because it's a V85, so it's a bigger number. Therefore, it's a bigger bike. But no, jokes aside, like it did have like a TFT on it. It had cruise control, track, like all the bells and whistles pretty much. But I wish they had a demo of that because I think it would have been really fun to ride.
Really cool to try out.
That's one of the Moto Guzzi bikes that I've always like eyeballed, and I was always curious to see how it worked. But it's also got that like side mount like V-twin engine, and it's just such a cool characteristics of the Moto Guzzis. That just seeing the engine, like the cylinder heads like poke out of the sides like that.
And there's that other one too they didn't have the demo for, like the wind tunnel. The
V100.
V100.
Yeah, V100 wind tunnel. And Jesus over at Eurosports, he was telling us about it, and actually has winglets that like come out at a certain speed, and the windshield like comes up to kind of give it better aerodynamics and kind of like move the air around the rider instead of at them.
It's a transformer.
Yeah. They didn't have a demo of that, but I sat on it and it was incredibly comfortable. Like the seat was so comfortable on it. And it's a little bit of a sportier riding position, but I was like, okay, this feels great.
I was pretty happy with sitting on that one too. I'd be very excited to try one out.
Oh, 100%. And that one's very much a purely touring bike. It looked very road going. It was pretty fared. And that one was actually liquid cooled instead of air cooled like the rest of the Moto Guzzis that we saw there.
Yeah.
As for the V85, I know they kind of had like the off-roady look to it. Well, one of them did with like spoked wheels, knobbier tires, like skid plate. I don't think I would take that bike off-road very much. No, I think the looks of it looks cool. Yeah. But outside of like a very smooth, basic like fire road or dirt road, it's pretty low to the ground. It's got a smaller like front heavy, wheel. It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
But it definitely looks cool.
It has like that look to it, which I appreciate. So if it's not going to be like the best off-road performer, but it just looks good.
But I feel like touring on it would be
going on a long trip on that.
Yeah. I would love to try a long trip with it, and I feel like just having it as like a off-roady looking road, but really road bike, it would still be kind of a vibe.
Oh,
just
for sure.
Just because it looks awesome.
Yeah, definitely. But it was it was nice to actually get to ride one and sit on. Now I can kind of say like, I know what a Moto Guzzi feels like.
Yeah, and they feel pretty good.
Yeah,
and the reason I'm assuming this is the reason why they all of a sudden got both Aprilia and Moto Guzzi is because they're owned by the same parent company.
Oh yeah,
it's the Piaggio group, I think. It's an Italian company, but they're under the same umbrella. So I was like, that makes sense why they're getting both. And you can tell like the switch gears between the Moto Guzzis and the Aprilias were pretty much identical. The TFTs were identical between the two.
For the
the higher end, like the V100 and the V85 that had the TFT, it looked very similar to the ones that were
there's
on
a screen
the
itself.
Aprilia.
Yeah.
We didn't get to turn them on, so I don't know if the graphics and stuff look different, but I wonder if it's kind of like KTM / Husqvarna thing,
Maybe,
where KTM has like orange colors on their TFT, and then Husqvarna has like green on it, and that's pretty much the only thing.
Could be. I guess we'll have to go back and try some more.
We definitely will if we get more demos.
But yeah, what do you think we should share next?
That's a good question, because
I think we should end with the big one.
I think we should end with the big one.
Yeah.
All right.
So
go ahead, Mitch. Tell us about
the next one we got to ride that I was actually I rode it for like 2 minutes. I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. This is the Aprilia Touareg 660 Rally. And wow, for like a small midweight adventure bike.
And this one, I feel like, going back to our couple of episodes ago, where like what's actually midweight.
Yep.
This one feels like it would actually
like
be
a proper midweight, but like it's a midweight, but the power to it, I was very happy like with how alive it felt, and like it's an adventure bike. I'm not looking to break any speed records on it, but it just felt like it could handle me, like giving it some gas and going.
Yeah.
I'll get all to that in a second, but like so the 660 Rally, parallel twin engine, liquid cooled with ride by wire, 659 cc displacement, creating 80 horsepower at 9250 RPM with a max torque 51 foot-pounds at 6,500 RPM. So, and to get through, my initial thing just from getting on it before I even knew like what the power felt like or anything like that seating position, that standing position, the bars are so high up that you're not like crazy. I don't know. They just found the perfect mark for me anyway.
I did find standing up on it really nice. I was really able to like get my entire body up on top of like the handlebars, which is like the ideal like off-road like riding position, and slide back and forth very easy. And I think part of it is because like the gas tank, it kind of stays narrow for a long time before like fairing out a little bit. And the seat is also more of an off-road like rally seat, like a more narrow, like straight rally seat instead of having a more ass room.
Yeah, for sure. So on it, speaking of that fuel tank, that's a 4.75 gallon tank for midweight. That's
not bad.
That's about what I got.
Seems about average.
Yeah, I mean that seems like what I have on my big bike right now.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Emerson's KTM has around the same size gas tank.
Yeah. So and then for an adventure bike too, coming in at 438.72 pounds wet is not awful.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
So, still 6-speed gearbox, the frame the trellis frame, aluminum plates, the Kiyaba 43 millimeter suspension up front, fully adjustable as well too. Same with the rear, nice. 200. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun. So, and they for the rally, they are the Kiyabas are specifically off-road tuned suspension. Brembo calipers, dual discs up front on there, and then and a 3 feet seat height. So pretty. It's tall. It was a tall bike.
It's tall. I mean, it's still an adventure bike. It's meant for riding dirt and all that stuff. But I've watched a few reviews on this bike in the last couple months on YouTube, and it seems that a lot of people that have ridden this bike are pretty happy with its like off-road performance. Yeah, and I can see why, because on getting on it, it felt like the weight. You immediately notice the weight, and even though it's a smaller displacement engine than what both of us have, I feel like that with a slower weight and just it kind of like
it didn't feel lacking at all.
It didn't feel lacking. No, I was still able to like get up to highway speeds just fine. It didn't feel like it was straining or being like or really like vibrating itself to death or anything like that. I was very happy with the
Yeah, and just again, even throughout the entire rev range, no matter what gear I was in, it's like the bike would respond like, with that throttle. It was like with mine, it can top out at the high end, and it's kind of done. I need to shift up or down, but like this one is like this just feels good. However they've mapped it, it was really nice.
And I did play around with like the ride modes and stuff on the screen a little bit, and it does have like adjustable levels of traction control and ABS and engine braking, and it has like 3 levels, so it's not as quite as like precise as like Ducati or KTM where you have like 1 through 10 or whatever. But it's still kind of nice to see that. I didn't check to see if I could switch modes while moving, but I wouldn't be surprised if you could.
Yeah, I didn't check that either.
At least switch to like off-road mode while moving, but I think you would be able to.
Yeah.
But I think, like I've mentioned plenty of times on the show before, like I love seeing motorcycles have that option, that feature that lets you adjust how much traction control you want. Like, oh, I want to be a little bit more aggressive. I want to like whip the tail, like let the tail of the bike like loose a little bit.
Yeah.
Or do a little bit more power slides, or kind of like incrementally get better instead of just having it be on or off.
Yeah.
I think it's an awesome feature especially for off-road bikes.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was very happy to see it on the Aprilia, on the Touareg.
Same. It was nice. And it was cool to like kind of flip through the 4 modes. I didn't really play with them too much. I tried Urban and Explorer, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just felt really good, so.
It did feel really good. It felt pretty like all the buttons and everything like that felt pretty pretty
well
together.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the prettiest looking bike. The front end is not my favorite. I kind of wish it was like, they have this like big like the entire windscreen on it. It kind of like covers the whole front, like all the way down to the headlight.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they would have like made the windscreen smaller and put some fairings around like on top of the headlight instead.
For me,
to kind of add a little bit more pop, because it just feels kind of like a very big like empty area up there in the front.
I hear what you're saying, but for me, I kind of like how it has just a windscreen there, because like, especially like when I've tried like other bikes compared to mine, it's more open, no fairings.
Yeah.
With that windscreen, I can still like look down and see. Like, I don't have like anything blocking my view really. Like, with the
I didn't think about that. That's true.
But so I was like, oh, I'm getting some protection, but I can still like see everything around close up front. But
and then the other thing I kind of noticed, like I feel like if they did have like actual like body paint like fairings and stuff, you can kind of see there was like kind of like a little bit gap where you can see like the internal wiring and stuff for the headlight and TFT. That's kind of like poking through, and I'm like, just close that gap so you're not seeing like wires just hanging out, because then I feel like dust and things has a potential to get in there as well.
Yeah.
So it's just like a super minor thing, but with like the weight of this bike, and I like that it had the wide foot pegs on it as well.
Comes standards with wide foot pegs.
Had wide foot pegs,
and then I think it was just on the Rally, but like the kickstand too, it had like that buff. That
little like shoe.
Yeah, the shoe for it. So that can save you $70.
And a pretty good sized skid plate as well.
Actually, pretty beefy skid plate.
Yeah, it was nice and thick. I didn't feel like it was like thin sheet metal, which I feel like you see a lot on like factory skid plates from a lot of bikes.
Yeah,
they just feel very dinky and thin.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the skid plate, so the Rally, the Touareg Rally, it comes standard with that big skid plate. It comes with a chain guard, the high mud fender, and an SB slip-on exhaust, and that exhaust just looks cool. The exhaust sounds awesome.
Yeah, I really like that as well.
Like, it doesn't look, it looks like an off-roady.
Yeah.
It just looks good, man. Like, a really good exhaust. It sounds nice on there too. So, and this bike with all those standard features starts at $13,999 MSRP. So, it's up there with the 10RA7 World Raid, because that was like 13 or something.
13 something.
Yeah.
They both have tube tires, which is a little bit of a
little downside, but
I really want to see if one of the local dealers will have like a Yamaha like demo day, because I would love to try out the World Raid.
I want to try. I still need to try a regular 10RA out,
because I feel like these two bikes are like very close very close to one another.
Yeah.
Especially if you compare it with the World Raid, but that one's also much heavier than this because it's got that big fuel tank.
Exactly. Yeah.
But on this, I feel like it's a good in between point. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just very curious to see how.
I want to try them all out because after riding that Aprilia, I was like, this is something I feel like I could actually like get behind, like for off-roading, and not be so worried.
I feel like off-roading, that thing would be a blast.
Yeah,
especially compared to like our heavier bikes.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I noticed that I can say too with this one, the slow speed stuff, even though it was like a taller up, higher up bike, it
did feel pretty good.
It was really easy to balance.
Like, I agree.
You know, and again, maybe it's because I have my big, heavy, tall bike that's a little bit more tricky. But with this one, I don't know. It just felt really well balanced and put together.
I thought so.
Yeah,
I thought so too. And I really enjoyed. I mean, we didn't get to ride it for that long, unfortunately. But I think we should go back and take it out for like a longer ride.
Yeah.
In the future, once the crowds die down, because they had a lot of people today, so we don't want to like obviously hog the bikes for
definitely
too long.
We didn't want to slow anything down, but it was
it was a fun bike.
With the Moto Guzzi and this bike we're about to talk about, we didn't slow it down. The highway trooper got interested in us and followed us for the whole demo.
The final bike that we'll talk about is the Aprilia Tuono V4, and this is a pretty much like a hyped up naked, it's kind of faired naked bike.
Yeah,
it didn't have clip-ons, but it had fairings.
Wasn't
super aggressive riding position, but still aggressive enough. Yeah. But this was in a beautiful like yellow color. We've
talked a lot about our love for yellow colored bikes.
Yep.
So.
It reminds me a lot of like the Triumph Street Triple, the yellow that they had, or the Daytona yellow, or like the new like the Tiger Sport. They had that that yellow on them as well.
And even on like one of like I think it was 2025, they made like a yellow like Panigale V2 in the yellow.
Yes, that too. Oh.
Yeah.
And it's just like such a good, loud, bright color.
Yeah.
That instantly catches your eye. And on this bike, it was a matte yellow color, which I think also
that's what I love.
Like, it just looked so good. It didn't look like over the top. I love that. The color was like the first thing I noticed. But this is a pretty souped up bike. So it's a 1099cc V4 with 180 horsepower and 89 pound-feet of torque, and a 6-speed transmission with a quick shifter. Comes standard. It's an up and down quick shifter. Sachs 43 millimeter forks up front that are fully adjustable, and a fully adjustable monoshock, also by Sachs, in the back. Dual 330 millimeter floating discs up front with Brembo radial calipers, and 220 disc in the back with also Brembo calipers. It comes in at 465 pounds wet weight, so a little bit of heavy, but like you do not feel that weight at all. Electronics comes with a 5-inch TFT. It's the same one that's on the Aprilia and a bunch of their other, the Touareg, and a bunch of their other bikes that we saw today. Also backlit switchgear, and it's pretty much got the full suite of all the traction control features you kind of expect from a bike of this caliber. Yeah. But it's got the Aprilia traction control with 3 adjustable levels of traction control, like intervention. Aprilia wheelie control, which has 2 modes that are predictive or adaptive, with adaptive mode being more specifically for track riding.
Okay.
Aprilia engine mapping with 3 settings that decides how much engine braking you have and how much engine power it kind of like delivers. Quick shifter, which I already mentioned, and Aprilia engine brake with 3 level of adjustable like engine brake control as well. And that said on their website that the engine brake control that uses an optimized algorithm that's based on lean angle to see how much you want to like slow yourself down.
Yeah.
And it's got 3 optional packs that you can get. There's the track pack, which adds 3 more riding modes, which is race, track 1, and track 2, which are, I'm guessing, are just like user configurable modes, just personally set up for you.
Yeah.
It throws in Aprilia launch control, so you can really take off of the bike, and a pit limiter and slide control. The pit limiter kind of limits the top speed of the bike.
Okay.
So if you're racing and you enter like the pit lanes, you can,
I see. Yeah.
it'll limit the speed without you having to like constantly keep an eye on it. And slide control, it helps prevent some high siding if you end up sliding your bike. Kind of helps hopefully mitigate like a high side crash.
Yeah.
And it also adds an additional dashboard layout on the TFT specifically for track riding. You also have the comfort pack, which adds cruise control and corner lights. I think that's the one that we had on the one that we tried because it did have cruise control on it. And then it has a race pack, which I thought was pretty gnarly. So the race pack, it says brings the most advanced racing technology with corner by corner, which automatically adjusts settings for Aprilia traction control, wheelie control, and engine braking. And it works with a GPS module for lap times and race telemetry, and it actually recognizes the track that you're on. So if you're taking it to like a certain specific track, it knows the track that you're on. It automatically like starts like lap times and all the other stuff you might need to know. It can track other racers, like if you're racing against other people, other Aprilia riders, it can like track to see like what their lap times were, and you can kind of like share it all through like their app, which I thought was kind of a cool, pretty cool feature.
Yeah.
And it uses that like GPS to kind of like adjust the traction control, wheelie control, and stuff a little bit more precisely. So kind of a cool feature.
Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, I can say riding that one too. Just so much fun.
That one starts at $16,699, but there's also a more expensive factory spec 210 V4 that starts at basically $20,000.
Like
the one that, and what that adds is an upgraded Öhlins suspension that is electronically adjusted or hydraulically adjusted, so it adjusts on the fly basically.
Yeah.
And with real-time Aprilia damping control. And it also has that race pack built in. So not only are you getting all the stuff that's in the race pack also, in addition, dynamically adjusts the Öhlins suspension as well as you're racing, which I'm like, that's pretty insane.
It's crazy
for this bike. And this bike was pretty insane to ride. It reminded me a lot of the Panigale V4 when we got to take that out.
Yeah.
And
it was. Oh, sorry. I'll let you finish.
I was just gonna say it just. You get on that throttle, and it just wants to get away from you.
That for me was like it felt alive in that sense. It felt like a Ducati in that sense, with how it just like lively and just wants to go and rip.
Yeah.
But then also like when I think back to the V4, the V2S for the Ducatis that we rode, it's like they have some character and like some like vibes in their engines.
Yeah.
And this one felt like almost like a triple.
It was a really smooth engine.
It was very smooth, but like extremely responsive, and not like boring either. Like it was
not at all.
It was a lot of fun. So.
It was a blast, and this is one of those bikes, kind of like the Panigales, both the V4 and the V2.
Yeah,
that's a little dangerous, not only for the fact that it's so powerful,
just for your wallet and your
for your wallet record. And your driving record, because like we took it on the freeway. There was a Utah highway trooper got it directly behind us.
Yeah, he was in front of us. He saw. I could tell he starts to slow down. It's like, oh, he's not going to just stay in his speed. And sure enough, he gets behind us.
He gets behind us till we exit. And then we got back on the freeway, and there was another highway trooper going the other way. And also, luckily, that one kind of got ahead of us. So we weren't too worried about him. But it was like...
It took a little bit getting back.
Yeah. But it was like... It's just one of those bikes that you can tell it wants to go fast. Mm-hmm. It is not a slow-moving bike. I did feel like it felt like a lot smoother at lower speeds than the Panigale did.
Yeah, like the Panigale just wants to
like
redline all the
slow
time.
Speeds. It feels just kind of like a little not clunky. Like it just feels like.
Well, it's a bike that's built to go fast, and I mean, so is the Aprilia.
And it wants to be going fast. Yeah. The Aprilia, I feel like, can go fast. But it's also okay kind of meandering at a slower speed a little bit.
It did okay. I did notice on the takeoff, from foot on the ground to getting up, first gear, and then getting going, it wants to go. You can tell like it just picks up once you're out of the friction zone. The bike is just like, we're going, but it's not like out of control or.
No, I did not feel like it was like maybe like one time where it felt like it was like it wants to get away from me. You really got to like hang on to the handlebars. But beyond that, like, no, it was a really fun bike to ride.
Yeah.
And I guess like comparing it to like the Panigale, both the V2 and the V4, this is I think Aprilia's website described it as like a hyper naked.
Yeah.
So it does have a bit more of an upright sitting position. It doesn't have clip-on bars. More of a
would be interesting
standard
to ride
handlebar.
Their sport bike.
That I think would be a lot of fun, and that would be a more fair true comparison to the Panigales.
No, definitely.
But this would be like more like the Street Fighter, which we haven't had a chance to ride yet.
Yeah.
But overall, like,
so much fun.
What an intense bike.
Yeah. Well, and really, like, we can't really compare. I don't really want to compare them, but it is just like that experience you get from each brand. And their builds, and it just felt really nice. Like a very fast. It's gonna go, but smooth, but not like a.
I agree.
Yeah, but not boring in it at all. In that smoothness, it's very characteristic and just.
And that V4 just has so much power.
Gosh, yeah.
And it sounded good too.
Mm-hmm.
It has, you would think a sport bike should sound like.
Yeah, I think that stock exhaust is a bit big.
Yeah. I think this would definitely be one of those bikes where an aftermarket exhaust would be, one, probably make it sound a lot better.
Yeah.
And two, reduce weight and just looks so much better because the stock exhaust was kind of a chunky.
It was giving me like the Honda stock exhaust, just very large.
Yep. Very large
on that one. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I saw like the normal Touareg someone purchased, they were buying, and they had like the stock exhaust, and like that's pretty big too. So that's why I didn't make that complaint, since it has like that aftermarket for the Touareg.
Yeah.
So maybe they just make big exhausts. So.
Yeah, I mean, with all the emission controls and
especially
sound control and things like that, they kind of have to. But then once you buy it, it's kind of, all right, well, we made it compliant to sell it, but whatever person does afterwards, that's on them.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. But yeah, pretty good. Pretty good little day.
Really good day. I was looking forward to it a lot, to try bikes that we've heard about, we've talked about, but never gotten to sit on or touch.
Exactly. So it's always fun trying out new brands of bikes too, just because I don't know, it's just fun. It's just fun seeing what else is out there on the market and kind of comparing it to like the brands that we are more familiar with, like Ducati, Triumph, or BMW bikes that we've ridden plenty of times.
I was very I didn't have any expectations necessarily, but like I was very impressed like with that Moto Guzzi, that V7.
I really like that as well.
Because I've talked about, we talk about, I was like, I want to get a second bike, and it's like, I want to get a Bonneville, which I still do want, a T120.
I would still pick the Bonneville over the.
But you look
V7.
at the price, I was like, yeah, I do too. But I was looking at the prices too for them. It's like that stone is not that expensive. It's $10,000, and you get a very characteristic, unique bike. Like
but.
I'm just adding it to the list
Bonneville.
of like, I don't want just two bikes. It's always,
and plus one.
Yeah. So I need a T120 and a Moto and a V7 stone now.
Yeah. But yeah, it'd be really cool to see. Hopefully they get more demos in the future that we'll be able to take out and try out, both from Moto Guzzi and Aprilia. I know both of us are looking forward to seeing the new Desert X in person from Ducati.
Yeah, I want to see that.
It makes it very nice that all three of them, all those dealers,
they're right there now.
They're all right next door to each other. So
I think it's good for Eurosports to be doing that.
I agree, and I think it's nice to have another brand added to like what folks can buy here in Utah.
Definitely.
And I think it's gonna be really nice, especially in the long run.
Yeah. So.
Awesome.
Other than
awesome
that,
little day.
Yeah, I'd just say again, big thanks to Eurosports Utah for putting that on, and you guys should definitely go check them out, especially if you haven't. Yeah, if you're in the market for a motorcycle, or if you're just very curious about these brands that in this area we just haven't had.
Yeah, if you're in Utah, check them out. They're awesome folks over there.
Yep, for sure.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Yep, see ya.